Let's try this one on that we have here. Let's imagine a situation where we have some x that's greater than 0 and less than or equal to 1. And I have a statement, the cosine of the inverse sine of x. And I want to write that as an algebraic statement in terms of x. So what can we kind of do with that? Well, let's first understand what that inverse sine of x is asking. It's asking us for whose angle produces a sine of x. And the best way we've been able to do that so far is to go ahead and start to draw a triangle. I know that I have my domain is between minus pi halves and pi halves, and that this x is positive, so that I'm going to be dealing with values or angles within the first quadrant. So let's draw a right angle in this first quadrant with this angle right here. So I have some angle whose sine makes an x. And remember, sine was opposite over hypotenuse. So I would have this value of x is the opposite. Its hypotenuse is 1. And then I have this other side over here that I don't know yet. So if I remember again, the Pythagorean theorem for a right triangle was one side plus the other side. We don't know that side, so we can just call it a squared for now. So x squared plus a squared equals 1 squared. I want to solve for a because I want this equation to be in terms for x, and I don't know what this is yet. So let's solve this for a. So this becomes a squared equals 1 squared minus x squared. I'm making sure that's what, sometimes you look at these. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I'm left with, that's plus or minus. I'm left with a equals, I'm going to take the plus side because I want a positive distance. So a equals the square root of 1 minus x squared. So now I know what this side equals. This side, well, that side was an a to begin with. This side now is, in terms of x, 1 minus x squared. So now I have each of the sides of the right triangle in terms of x. And I was wondering what cosine is. I want to find out what's the cosine of this angle. And cosine was adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of the inverse sine of x, or the cosine of this particular angle, equals its adjacent, which is root 1 over x squared, all over its hypotenuse, which is a 1, and that just equals root 1 minus x squared. So I was able to write that in an algebraic statement in terms of x.